If you were a kid growing up in the 1970s, there's a high chance this most iconic of 70s items was on your Christmas list. I'm talking about the Raleigh Chopper. Back in a time before mobile phones, computers and video games had kids staring zombie-like at a screen, kids used to play outside, racing up and down on their push bikes and having some bloody good fun. Bikes of the 1960s were practical, functional and just a little bit dull. In 1969, Raleigh changed that with the release of the Chopper. Its origins are shrouded in controversy, but there are two people claiming to have designed the Chopper. Alan Oakley, Raleigh's Nottingham-born chief designer, visited America in 1967 and came back with this sketch design on the back of an envelope based on the chopped motorcycles he saw, like the Harley Davidson. This has the long seat and gear stick mounted on the frame. Tom Caron, a designer for Ogle Design, was also approached by Raleigh to design something based on an American bike, the Schwinn Stingray from 1963. His version shows the long saddle and mismatched wheels. Both versions have features that were part of the final bike, and in many respects, who designed it is irrelevant. The fact it was designed and it was destined to become a classic. In 1969, the Mark I Chopper was released to the public at a cost of £34, which is just over 550 quid today. It was designed to appeal to kids, with a smaller 16-inch wheel at the front and a larger 20-inch wheel at the back, like an American drag car, decorative rear brake disc, high-rise handlebars and a 3-speed Sturmey Archer gear knob mounted on the frame. It was sold in brilliant orange, golden yellow, flamboyant green, Targa mustard and horizon blue. Its success was immediate. Kids loved its unusual but sporty looks. If you had one, your friends were jealous. And of course, with all the Raleigh workers in Nottingham, the Chopper seemed to be everywhere. In 1972, the Mark II Chopper was launched, even including a 5-speed version. The gear knob became a T-stick shift, the seat was moved further forwards, and the whole bike was new and improved. There was even a label on the bike seat saying, "This bicycle is not constructed to carry passengers," which, let's face it, everyone ignored. The best part about having a friend with a Chopper was the fact he could give you a croggy. Mark II 3-speed models were sold in infrared, ultraviolet, lemon yellow, quicksilver, space blue and jet black. The 5-speed model was sold with derailleur gears in pink and lime green. Its success led to a range of similar bikes for smaller, younger children, the Budgie, the Chipper, the Tomahawk and the Formula 3. The Chopper, however, was badly flawed. It was harder to ride on and less stable than a normal bike. I can remember trying on a friend's and I didn't get very far. It was slow and heavy and wobbled at moderate speeds. If you tried to pop a wheelie, the heavy back end caused you to fall backwards. Worst of all, that gear lever was in a precarious position. If you crashed and landed on it, you certainly knew about it, especially if you was a boy. Production of the Chopper ceased in 1980 when the BMX craze took over. In total, Raleigh had sold over 1.5 million Choppers during the 1970s, both to the UK and US market, and it was this bike alone that kept the company going. In 2004, almost 25 years since the production of the Chopper stopped, it was relaunched with the Mark III version. This still looked like the classic Chopper, but the saddle was modified to prevent croggies, and the painful gear lever was moved to handlebar controls. They did, however, leave a Mark III sticker where the lever used to be. This was a pure nostalgia trip. The Mark III didn't sell as well as previously. Kids had different things to do with their times now. The era of game consoles had arrived. Special editions of a Chopper had been produced since then, but they just don't sell the same. And the biggest thing about the Mark III Chopper? It wasn't made in Nottingham. Choppers are now incredibly collectible. A very good condition model can set you back over £1,000. A fully pristine restored model can reach well over £2,000. The bike remains a classic, and there'll be nothing ever produced again with the style and impact that the Chopper did on the market. Even now there are adults aged 50 to 60 whose hearts beat a little quicker and smiles appear on their face when they see a Chopper ride by. I never had one. I rode one once, but even now, I still quite fancy the idea of one. Maybe next Christmas, eh?
They really are very modern bikes indeed. I think they're just about the most modern design bikes that I've seen for ages.
Well, they remind me of those American dragster racing bikes because the front wheel is much smaller than the back wheel and the rider sits right at the back end here with these high roll bars behind him. It looks extremely sporting.
Well, there's quite a lot of things that are different about them, and I'll just get off and show you one thing immediately, and that is I can get the stand down. The saddle, usually bikes have this little tiny hard leather saddle in the middle, which is very uncomfortable. This has got a lovely long saddle and a back made out of nice soft squishy leather, and of course this is a very nice support here when you're riding along. And these springs underneath here, coil springs, if I push down you can see them give there, and the idea is that as you ride along nasty bumpy roads they take all the bumps and you don't feel anything, and they certainly are very comfy indeed. What do you think, Pete?
Yeah, I think they're absolutely great. But the roll bar at the back certainly wouldn't protect you very much if you came off the bike, but that together with, if I can negotiate this, that's it, that together with these high sporting handlebars makes the bike look just like a real racing machine. And it doesn't have conventional gears like you'd expect with a click switch up here on the handlebars. What it has got is a gear lever down here on the crossbar, rather like a car gear lever. You move it backwards and forwards to change gear, and there is an indicator on it. Across here it shows that it's now in second gear. I rode in third gear, but when you look down you can see right away which gear you're in. I think it's very well designed.
Oh, everything actually on these bikes seems to be the latest in design. I've ridden quite a few bikes on Blue Peter, old and new, but I should think this is one of the most modern looking bikes I've seen. The thing I do like actually is this rear tyre. It's a lovely broad tyre. It's got a nice tread there for gripping the road, very much like a motorbike scramble tyre. Above it, behind the saddle, there's a nice large reflector, and on each of the pedals too they've got reflectors, so you can be seen at night quite well by other road users.